Hey everybody, we're back with you here this week with another tool review. Actually, this is a heater review. This is the Mr. Heater Big Buddy. They make a couple different sizes in these. They make the little buddy and the big buddy, and then they make some that just screw right on top of your propane tanks. We went with this one because it does put out 18,000 BTU. We actually bought this. We had a craft show we was going to go to where we're doing our cheers and our baby swings. That was supposed to be outdoors, and it ended up getting moved indoors, so we ended up not needing the heater, but I held on to it because it does do a pretty good job of just knocking the chill off the inside of the shop here. I've got a bigger heater, big kerosene heater that's like 30,000, 40,000 BTU, you know, when it's really cold outside. But just to come out here to do a little bit of work, knock a little chill off, this one's really easy, just because it's so much easier to light than the kerosene, and so it's just convenient. So I thought I'd show it to you today because when we bought it, there was a few questions we had that you couldn't find out online or on the box. And so we bought it hoping it would do what we thought it was going to do, and it did. But, you know, for those of you that may be out there shopping that don't know the difference between these two, I kind of want to show you the difference between these two, because it's, I don't remember price difference. What was it? I think about 40 bucks price difference between the little buddy and the big buddy. So it wasn't a huge price difference, but this puts out so much more heat, and to me is more versatile. The little buddy basically only runs off one cylinder tank. Now obviously you can get the conversion hose, which I'll show you here in a minute, and hook it up to a bigger tank, you know, 20 pound or even bigger tanks than that if you wanted to. But the little buddy will only work off one of these, which limits you to basically half your heating surface. And so it cuts your BTUs in half right away. And us being outside, we didn't know how the wind would be, you know, how closed up we could make the tent with it to keep the heat in, so we went ahead and went with the bigger one. And of course the bigger one uses two of these. One goes in each side, and so that gives you a bigger heating surface. Now yes, that uses twice the amount of propane, and so that's something to consider. But what's neat about the big one is you don't have to use both at the same time. You can cut this down by your temperature control here and only use half the heater, which makes it basically the same as the little buddy. But like I say, versatility, if you need it, you have that other half so that you can really crank it up and stay warm if you needed to. You know, I know a lot of guys use these hunting and in their tree stands and duck blinds and stuff like that. This is actually rated that you can use this indoors. You can use this inside your house. It does not have to be vented. The only stipulation is you have to use these bottles if you're using indoor. It does warn if you use a bigger tank, the bigger tanks need to be located outside. And so if you do hook it up to a 20 pound tank or a 100 pound tank, you know, some of those got the tall tanks, the tanks need to be located outside, just for safety reasons for the tanks, you know. So that's something to consider. But we've been pretty happy with it. I'll kind of give you an overview here of how everything hooks up, and then we'll light it up and show it to you. Alright guys, basically once you take it out of the box, take all the styrofoam off of it, this is what you get. It does have a place for batteries in the back. All the batteries do is this one has a fan on it. And so the fan blows out the top here, so it kind of blows the heat out towards you. That is all the batteries for. You do not have to have the batteries for the igniter. And so you don't have to have batteries in it. I do have them in there because we did run the fan a little bit. I don't run it a lot. So I don't know how long the batteries will run. And that may be one of the questions you'll end up asking, but I don't know that yet because I haven't run the batteries down yet. But batteries in the back. And then basically you have your two doors here. These will come on. Your little thing out here will actually swivel out. You just screw that right in. then once you get it screwed in, just flip it down, close your door back. And then you have your other unit on the other side, same type deal. It folds out, screw it in, it folds down, close it back up. At that point, you're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to light it. It's got a pilot light that you can light and then go on from there. I also want to show you how to hook up the 20-pound tank with the hose conversion because these do burn out very quickly if you have it on high. And so let me show you how that process works. So if you're going to hook up with your hose to a bigger tank, it's going to be on the left side of the unit. You basically take out your bottle propane tank that we showed you earlier, and there's two ways you can hook it up. They make a quick disconnect hose that will snap on right here. You see this brass fitting right here. If you've got a quick disconnect hose that you buy, either Mr. Heater, there's other brands you can buy too, I found them out there. You can hook it up right here. If you do not have the quick disconnect, it simply hooks in here where your normal small 1-pound tank fits. This is a 12-foot hose. I did buy this off Amazon. It is the exact same hose as the Mr. Heater hose if you was to buy it aftermarket. I'll tell you guys, I bought this back in May for $15.99. If you buy it from Mr. Heater, the same hose is $50. Shop around, learn your fittings. Basically the two fittings you need. This is the fitting you will need to hook it into the side port, and I'll show you, I'll screw that on here in a minute, show you how that fits in there. And then you need the fitting on this side. You do not need a regulator with this heater. Sometimes when you buy these hoses, you'll see the big regulator fitting on here. For certain types of things you need those. For this one you do not need the regulator. So all you need is the screw in there. Then you take this in right here. And basically you're going to screw it up in there just like you would a canister. And it's a little tricky sometimes. I'll tell you a little trick I always use with any, and this works with any boat, guys. I'll give you a good pointer here. When you got to screw something on, if you want to make sure you don't cross thread it, turn it like you're unscrewing it first until you hear it click. Once you do that, that'll actually straighten your threads up, and so it screws right in without you having to worry about cross threading. Do not force those threads. You do not want to cross thread that in there, because then it's going to mess these threads up in here, and then it's going to make it where you can't put a little 1-pound tank on there. So once you get that in there, open up your tank. Again, I'm outside my shop, guys. That's the reason why I got the tank here. You would not normally want this tank inside your house. But this will run down in there and still close with your hose. And then you come over here, you see your pilot light right down here at the bottom. And if you've ever messed with any kind of gas logs, gas stove, anything like that, it's basically the same thing. You push down, turn the pilot, you'll see it click. You'll see your pilot light come on. Just keep it pressed down until that sensor gets hot enough to recognize that there is a flame there. Then you can let go, pilot light stays lit. From there, what's neat is this is one of the other questions I had that I couldn't find out online or reading on the box before I bought this heater, was I wondered, since you have to have both tanks installed to run both sides of the heater, I was like, well, do you have to have a hose hooked into both sides and then wired into your tank? You do not. You only have to have the one. It's smart enough to know it can feel the pressure from the tank, and so it knows the difference in the pressure between your little bitty bottle and your big tanks, and so you only have to hook it into one side. No need for two hoses, no need for Ys. I've seen some people out there saying you do have to have two hoses and a Y. You do not. One hose. Then we can turn this bad boy on to low. And I don't know if you can catch the flames on camera there. That's pretty hard to see. But once you give it a few minutes, this is ceramic back in here, so this will turn red. after a few minutes. On low, it's only going to run on one side. That's going to give you your longest burning based on, you know, on your gas, whether it be the little propane tank or a bigger 20-pound propane tank. Burning it on low with a 20-pound tank, you can get 111 hours of burning time. That is a lot of burning time. Once you go up to medium, once you go past medium and it gets up to high, it'll light this other side. And again, it'll take you a few minutes to warm up, and it'll get that ceramic glowing, and you'll be able to see it on camera. That's your highest heat setting. That is 18,000 BTUs. And let me tell you, that's putting out some heat. And so if you also, you know, if you're going to be out in front of it rather than right next to it, you can turn your little fan on here, and it'll help distribute that heat, blowing it out front. Because, you know, again, heat rises, and so all that fan is doing is coming out right here, out of these ducts right here, blowing across to blow that heat out a little bit. But that's 18,000 BTUs, which is going to burn up some gas really quick. Literally, when I had 2 of these tanks hooked up to it, and it was a little chillier than what I thought it was out here in my shop that day, I was out of kerosene, and so I turned this on high. I went through both of these canisters within about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, and they was empty. And so just know, if you have it on high, it'll put off some great heat. And it's very convenient. You see how easy it is to light, how easy it is to hook up. And I mean, you see this baby's glowing. I mean, she's putting off some good heat. But on little tanks, it will burn through them very fast. And so that's just one word of caution. You know, if you are going to take this out mobile somewhere, in your hunting stands, or you know, if you're out at a craft show trying to keep warm, if you're solely going to go off these, you better have some extra ones if you're going to run it on high. Now, if it's not so cold that you can turn it down to low, you can get, I think it was 12 to 16 hours between low and medium on these, which is not bad. That would get you all day long through your show, or ever how long you was hunting or whatever, no problem. If you can, and if you got to burn it on high, you're better off to get you a 20-pound tank and the hose conversion. I did go back because I actually use this hose for some other purposes around my house. I've actually got like a tabletop fire pit that I actually use this hose for. That's what I originally bought it for. So I was going to buy another one just to have just for this heater, so I wouldn't have to take that other hose on and off every time. But you know, 2020 has been crazy, guys. I went and checked on the same hose. You know, if you go to Amazon, you can go back to your orders and find it and hit buy again. This hose went up to 40 bucks. It was $15.99 at the time I bought it back in May. Now it's $39.99. My advice is shop around. I will not be buying that hose for $39.99. I will wait till it goes back down. You know, supply and demand. People quits buying this crap. Quits paying these outrageous prices. These prices will go back down. And so I'll wait. I've got this other hose here from I just took it off my outdoor fire pit, and I'll be using it until prices go back down. So my word of advice, you do whatever you feel good with. This hose, even at $39.99, is still about 10 bucks cheaper than if you buy the Mr. Heater brand. So if you're looking at it that way, you still save 10 bucks. It's your choice on how you want to handle that. But I hope that helps answer some of your questions about how these things hook up in here. My biggest question, like I said, when we bought it was, could you only burn one fuel tank at a time with the big buddy versus the little buddy? And you can. And so that way, you know, if you burn one and then you burn out, as long as you're running on low, then you can have your other tank there that you can run the other side off of on low. And that way you get a little bit more longer usage out of it. And then my other big question was regarding the hose, and would I have to have 2 hoses and a Y? Because obviously, you know, if you're paying 40 bucks for a hose or 50 for Mr. Heater, you know, that's 100 bucks worth of hoses plus the Y. So knowing you only got to have the one hose can save you a lot of money, gives you a lot longer heating time, and like I say, I know some guys have got those big hunter tanks that stand about this tall. I mean, my goodness, you could probably burn for a month on one of those with this thing. So one more thing, guys, I also picked this up when I bought the heater. Basically what it is, it's a propane tank refill adapter, and what it does is it connects between your 20-pound tank, and it will allow you to refill these 1-pound tanks. You know, these 1-pound tanks, they're not super expensive. I think we paid $7 for 2 of them, maybe $8 for 2 of them, so maybe $3 or $4 a piece. So not super expensive, but if you're going to have to keep buying them over and over and over again, that kind of gets a little wasteful in my opinion. And so I picked this up, and it's really simple to use. Okay guys, this is what it looks like once you get it out of the package. Basically what you do is this small end will screw up in here. Now this is a left-handed screw, which is, you know, you've been taught all your life, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Well, this is right the opposite. You got to turn left-handed to screw it up in there. And for this, you do want to take a wrench and just snug it up. Don't super over tighten it, because this is brass. It don't have to be super tight, just a good snug. And then basically this big end will fit on your small tank then. And so what we'll do is we'll screw this on there. This is off right now. This valve is closed. And so we will screw this on here. And there's a pin inside there that'll actually engage in there. If you're during the summer, it says if you chill your containers, it'll make them fill a little bit more efficiently, get a little bit more fuel in there. It's kind of cool out here today, so I didn't chill that because I think it's cold enough in the weather. But then basically what you do is we'll flip this thing upside down, turn this on, calculate 1 minute, turn it back off, and then this thing will be full then. Simple as that. So anyways, hope that helps you. That way you can reuse some of your cylinders and stuff instead of having to buy these. So I hope that helps. If there's any questions that I didn't answer that you can think of, please drop me a line in a comment. We make sure we try to answer every comment that comes into us. And so if there's a question you do have on this heater that I did not answer, shoot me a question in the comments, and if I don't know it, I'll come in here and I'll experiment with it till I find out. Like I said, the only thing I don't know right now is how long the batteries will run on the fan, and that's going to vary widely on what kind of batteries you use too. So that will be a hard one to answer. But if there's anything else you want to know, please shoot me a comment, and we'll be sure to share it with you. I hope this helps. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on our tool reviews. They seem to be really popular on our channel. Guys, you know, we started out doing RV videos. And so tool reviews was not what we was planning on doing on this YouTube channel. But you know, 2020 has made a lot of creators and YouTubers have to adapt out there. And so that's what we're doing. We're stuck here at the shop, so we're making some stuff. Haven't got to travel so much this year as we wanted to. And so every time I buy a new tool, I'm going to put a tool review out there. And so I hope it helps some people. Some of the other things that we bought, some of the drill presses, the routers, and the table saws and all that seems to have helped a lot of people, because a lot of people was on the fence one way or the other. And like I say, I try to answer questions that I had myself. So I hope that helps people out there. You guys stay tuned. We do have some exciting stuff coming in 2021. We're very pumped. We got some big news coming. I know I've been teasing it for seems like 2 months now, and I apologize to drag it out that long, but we're trying to string all those videos together in one package. And to be honest, it's already been over a year in the making. I've already started putting together the first few videos on that, and so it's a long time span coming together to one. And rather than having to tease you with 1 or 2 videos and then it be a month and another couple of videos on it, I'm going to try to put those all together for you. So that's why it's taking so long. But in the meantime, we're going to keep doing this. As soon as we can get out traveling, we're going to be back out there traveling. We are convinced 2021 is going to be a better year. Not that 2020 was all bad. We try to stay positive, but we're very excited about what the future brings us. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We are finally getting up there in our subscribers some. I'd like to see that keep going. We would love to hit the 1,000 subscribers, because that helps get our content out to more people. And give us feedback. If there's something you want to see, something you want to know about us, please let us know. We're an open book, guys, and we'd love to share everything we can with you. So stay tuned. Check with us. We've got a new video every week, Sunday at 6 p.m.